Unit number 7. Unit Overview. Oral communication is our most used mode of communication. It means speaking within a meeting, conversing in a hall, speaking to 100 people, and so on. This unit introduces you to successful strategies needed to be effective in oral communication. We will cover 3 important topics: oral communication, listening, and persuasive communication. These have great importance in communication because these are key to success. Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to understand different facets of art of effective speaking, explain rules of communication verbally, effectively deal with the verbal communication in one-to-one situation, develop good listening abilities, and explain persuasive communication. Introduction. Verbal or spoken communication has great importance. Speaking is the fastest method of communication. It is also the most direct. Verbal communication has great significance in our daily life. It may also be the key to business success. The best evidence any aspiring manager can display of his ability is the capacity to present his thoughts and conclusions clearly. The ability of an individual to lead and take part effectively in face-to-face discussions, meetings, conferences, interviews, briefings, and presentations are what build personnel as well as the organization's image. Listening skills play an equally important role. For instance, in employer-employee relationships, group discussions, etc., one uses listening skills to achieve business goals. Good verbal communication involves perception, organization, interpretation, and feedback. These make an effective and persuasive manager who goes far in the business world. Verbal communication started before the written communication. In the present world, oral communication is still more important than written communication. So it was felt necessary to develop oral communication skills in common life. Steps for preparing effective oral communication. 7 steps are essential for successful oral statements, short or long. Determine the purpose. Analyze the audience and occasion. Select the main ideas for the message. Research the topic. Organize the data and write the draft. Create visual aids and rehearse the talk. Determine the purpose. We communicate to produce the result. We wish something to occur as a result of our words. On the macro level, these overall goals are to inform, to persuade, or to entertain. To inform or instruct. Here the goal is to clarify, secure understanding, explain a process. At the conclusion of your message, you hope listeners have a better comprehension of an issue, an idea, a process, or a procedure. To persuade. Gaining willing acceptance of an idea is core to persuasion. Note that the key word here is willing. Your goal is that after you have finished your presentation, listeners will accept your proposal, your claim, your thesis, and you hope they will do as you ask them to do. To entertain. This type of speaking may include not only humorous statements you will make, but also numerous ceremonial, introductory, or stimulating statements. Social occasions, such as promotion parties, retirement, or anniversaries are characteristic of this kind of speaking. Analyze the audience and occasion. Whether one writes or speaks, the message must be adapted to the audience. If your talk is within your organization, you will have some idea about who and how many people will be in the audience. Less information is available when speaking to outside groups. Then seek out information such as the size of the group, age range, interests, goals, occupations, which could be incorporated into your remarks. Select the main ideas for the message. Selecting your main theme or your core idea should be done first. Then, gathering additional information will be in support of those core ideas. Your first list of core ideas may be disorganized or haphazard. Later you can select those ideas that are workable and offer a unified theme. Research the topic. It is obvious that you will not possess all information relating to your central theme. Thus, as in writing, you need to collect facts, data, and information. Your research may cause you to drop some of your initial ideas and add new ones. Organize the data and write the draft. After you have completed gathering your information, it is time to force some order on your information. As you do this, remember that a good speech has 3 parts: an introduction, a body or text discussion, and a conclusion or summary. Introduction includes aim or purpose, lays out the direction of speech. Body includes evidence, data for your central theme. Summary reminds audience of the main idea covered in the body of talk. And conclusion draws inference from data. Create visual aids. A wide variety of visual aids can be used to help the appearance of oral presentation. Among these are maps, cutaway drawings, organizational charts, flow charts, photographs, and various design sketches. Rehearse the talk. By rehearsing, you will become more comfortable with your material and you can still revise where necessary. In rehearsing, keep in mind these issues. Always imagine the audience in front of you. Avoid long sentences and unusual words. Take each of the main points one at a time and learn to present each with supporting material as a unit. Include the visual aids you will use and in the margin, note where each aid should be used. Anticipate the questions from the audience, jot them on the paper, and consider thoughtful answers. Stop at the allotted time. Then cut and revise the speech accordingly until you can deliver it within the time limit, allowing also for a question and answer period. Ways of delivering the oral message. You have 4 options for speaking: extempore, reading, memorization, and impromptu. Extempore. This method is most preferred by audience and speakers. It allows a speaker to use notes or an outline. He or she usually may use 3 by 5 inch cards or a full sheet of paper as notes for the remarks. Reading. Major political figures and others who do not want to make a mistake read a manuscript. Memorization. Few speakers today memorize complete speeches. One of the risks of memorization is forgetting your precise words in front of an audience, which can decrease your credibility. Impromptu. Many of us are called upon at the last moment to offer comments. When you speak off the cuff, without preparation, without a forewarning that you will speak, you are speaking impromptu. Strategies for an effective oral delivery. One of your personal signature is your voice. Varying pitch, rate and volume gives it more interest and appeal. Pitch. At its simplest level, pitch is the highness or lowness of your voice. In speaking, this pitch should be varied. Traditional problems in using pitch are monotone, high or low voice, and same word value. Monotone. It means speaking flatly and having no expressions. Lack of pitch variation may result in being called a monotone. High or low voice. Speakers should use different level of voice to be effective in the pitch and to avoid the plain voice. Same word value. By increasing or decreasing the voice at a specific word means that the speaker wants to emphasize on that word, and through this process the meaning of the sentence is changed. For example, in the sentence, Shaquille, don't do that, you change, that is, raise your voice on the word written in italics. Rate. Most communication experts suggest that the range for public speakers lies between 80 to 160 words per minute. In more casual conversation, some people may range from 80 to 250 words per minute. Variation in rate is better than speaking at the same speed. Volume. Volume is the loudness or the softness of your voice. Contrast in emphasis. Contrast in emphasis involves using a louder or softer volume on certain words, certain part of your talk, and in certain ideas. Controlled breathing. Too frequently speakers breathe in low gasps. Breathe deeply. In fact, slow, deep breathing prior to speaking helps to decrease stage fright symptoms. Pronunciation. It is defined as the manner in which someone utters a word. We easily forgive pronunciation errors in foreign speakers than in native speakers. You are expected to be correct in the business world. Here are some suggestions for improving pronunciation. Listen to the educated and cultured people of your community. Try to consult a recent dictionary. Introduction to listening. Listening is half of oral communication, and it is a skill which should be taken very seriously. It is defined as the act of hearing attentively. You can learn a lot by just listening. According to Dumont and Lennon, listening is a complex and selective process of receiving, focusing, deciphering, accepting, and storing. These 5 processes are distinct but closely interrelated. Listening takes place only when all the processes are present. The first process, receiving, means hearing or receiving sounds. Focusing means paying attention to the sounds which are of interest and importance to the listener. Deciphering means assigning meaning or decoding the words received and focused upon. Accepting means interpreting the message as intended by the speaker. And storing means putting the accepted message in mind for future recall. Importance. Listening is a very important aspect of communication. Through listening, business people receive information, news, instructions, advice, suggestions, proposals, etc. In fact, listening is learning. An individual in business spends most of the working hours in listening and speaking. Therefore, listening plays a vital role in business. Good listening has manifold advantages for the listener and brings valuable results. Purpose of listening. Some of the main purposes of listening are to gain new ideas and information, to question and test evidence and assumption, to improve your own communication. To gain new ideas and information. We listen to the speaker to get information and knowledge. Some examples of this type of listening are teacher lecture in a class. Informative indoctrination gives new employees background to a company. Persuasive statements to clients give both information and reasons for buying. To question and test evidence and assumption. Often we listen to the speaker to ask some questions to verify our knowledge or to confirm our knowledge. Through this process, we make correction in our knowledge. To improve your own communication. We want to improve our way of speaking, and that is why we listen to different speakers and adopt the good qualities of the speakers. 10 Commandments for Good Listening. Stop talking. You cannot listen while you are talking. Put the speaker at ease. Create a permissive, supportive climate in which the speaker will feel free to express himself or herself. Show the speaker that you want to listen. Look and act interested. Don't ignore him while the speaker talks. Listen to understand rather than to reply. Remove distractions. External preoccupation is less likely if nothing external is present to preoccupy you. Empathize with the speaker. Patience makes you sober and worth speaking to. Try to put yourself in his place so that you can see his point of view. Be patient. Do not interrupt him. Allow plenty of time. Give the speaker time to finish. Don't interrupt. Hold your temper. An angry man gets the wrong meaning from words. He who angers you conquers you. Don't let your emotions obstruct your thoughts. Take it easy on argument and criticism. These put others on the defensive. They may clam up or become angry. Don't argue. If you win, you lose. Ask questions. If things are still unclear when a speaker has finished, ask questions which serve to clarify the intended meanings. It encourages the speaker and shows you are taking interest. Putting questions attracts the attention of the listener. Stop talking. This is the first and last commandment because all the others depend on it. You just can't do a good job of listening while you are talking. You learn only when you are not talking. Results of good listening. It permits mutual understanding between the speaker and the listener. It permits the speaker and the listener to improve communication because both are receptive to each other. It leads to positive attitudes. It shows the speaker that the listeners are interested. In turn, the speaker is motivated and encouraged to give his best presentation. It results in receiving useful information, enabling the listener to make accurate decisions, and it helps the speaker, especially in an interview, in talking about a problem. Faults in listening. Much information that you send orally is lost because of listeners' poor listening habits. In fact, studies agree that listening efficiency is no better than 25 to 30%. Here are some causes. Prejudice against the speaker. It means that the speaker does not match your mood or style. When the speaker conflicts with our attitudes, we are distracted. For example, can you maintain attention when the speaker's position, attitude, or belief is entirely contrary to your own? External distractions. Entire physical environment affects listening. Among the negative factors are noisy fans, poor or glaring lights, distracting background music, and overheated or cold rooms. Also, sitting near disturbing individuals in the audience might distract a listener's attention from the speaker's message. Thinking speed. The average speaking rate is about 125 words per minute, and a person's capacity to listen is about 400 to 600 words a minute, that is, thinking speed. Thus, while you are listening, about 75% of your time is free. In order to listen better, you must focus on what is being said rather than allowing yourself to be distracted by your environment or allowing your mind to wander. Premature evaluation. Sometimes it happens that the audience want to obtain the conclusion before time, that is, before ending the speech. Or at times they interrupt the speech or ask questions before time. Listen to what the speaker is saying until he or she is done. Semantic stereotypes. As certain kind of people bother us, so too their words. Some words cause negative reactions. We tune out the speaker because the word annoys us. It shouts so loudly in our brain that effective listening is impaired. Delivery. A monotone can readily put listeners to sleep or cause them to lose interest. Due to this, some people may become bored, uninterested, and critical of the message. Persuasive communication. Persuasive means influential, convincing, and winning. Administrators and managers have many opportunities to use persuasive communication. They should be persuasive when writing sales letters, promotional materials, labels for product packaging, advertisements, public relations articles for newspapers and other media, customer service reply letters, and dictation for correspondence. They use persuasive communication when giving speeches, when exhorting employees, when speaking at association meetings, when addressing the media, when rallying support for a cause, when closing a sale, when talking on the telephone, and when preparing radio or television advertisements. We communicate due to professional requirements and for personal connections. Persuasive communication has two basic components, that is, persuasive speaking and persuasive writing. Here we discuss elements and principles of persuasive speaking only. Elements of persuasive speaking. In this, consider these factors. Personal style. Knowing exactly how you appear to others is crucial if you have control over the impression you make. In personal style, appearance, movement, and general poise are important to consider. Voice as an image maker. The sound of your voice, its volume, clarity, pitch, flexibility, and quality combine to create an image. Through the use of audio and videotape, participants will learn the potential power inherent in the sound of the voice. Effective listening. No one can lead without listening well first. A good listener is a good speaker. Body language. Your professional success could well be linked to mastering the understanding and use of body language. Through role-playing, participants will learn to interpret body signals and will be able to monitor and control their own. Principles of persuasive speaking. In order to penetrate the countless stimuli, personal agendas, presupposition and political barriers that exist between the presenter and his audience, the persuasive communicator sculpts his presentation around these principles. People listen for their reasons, not yours. Speakers who understand the need of their audience may find themselves giving a brilliant presentation. The persuasive communicator is on a mission to tailor the message to the explicit needs. This requires a discovery of the values and needs of the prospects in order to shape the presentation to what they consider important. When the prospects identify an important feature or service that they will require, it is advised the communicator to ask, "Why is that important to you?" as a way of getting beyond the superficial and into a more intimate understanding of the client's needs and state of mind. People will support what they help create. Collaboration is a way to build sustainable relationships with clients. We should co-create strategies with prospects by taking an "I listen, you talk" approach. This involves 2 steps: asking good questions and managing silence. Good questions invite participation. Managing silence brings out the best responses. The communicator physically moves away from the spot he or she is standing in to create a vacuum. Psychologically, this tells the audience that it is now their turn to lead the discussion. Remaining silent during this time is crucial to evoking response. Everything communicates, and then some. People do judge you by the words you use. It is not only our words that people judge us by. Audience size up speakers by several criteria, including level of education, social status, energy level, likability, behavior, general appearance, and even desirability as a best friend or mate. However, they rate these criteria primarily through 2 channels: the speaker's voice and body language. The message is the message received. Message must be crafted for the audience. A flawless presentation will not win over prospects if they take away a different message than the one you hoped to convey. People fall into 4 categories when it comes to how they receive information. Initiators see the big, long picture. Thinkers are analytical and need things presented to them in logical, sequential order. Feelers understand through their emotional reactions, relying on their feelings more than on the facts of a presentation. And sensors are action-oriented, who get it and are ready to make it happen, often without considering all factors. Rehearsal with feedback is the key. Practice makes a man perfect. Rehearse your presentation before a group of people from your organization. If possible, comprise the group of people from each of the 4 personality types discussed earlier. If no one is available to help you, rehearse before a video camera. If you do not have a video camera, practice before a mirror. Nevertheless, remember to judge your presentation from the perspective of your audience, not your own subjective opinion. If you focus on creating comfort and confidence in your communication, yours will be the only name on the short list that ever mattered anyway.